This past January, we celebrated the life of Dan Benke, a parishioner for a number of years. His wife Esther is very involved in our Knit for Life ministry. And one of the great privileges, and it is truly a privilege for me as a priest, is to accompany families at the time of death. A very challenging time as a person copes with the loss of someone who they dearly love. But as a priest, you get to hear these extraordinary stories of who this person was, the challenges they faced, the impact they've made, the legacy that they have built, the memories that they have created. Dan was a civil engineer for most of his professional life, but his passion was photography. And he became a specialist, of all things, in the photography of micro minerals. Now, I have to confess, I don't know much about micro minerals, but he developed a technique of taking images of minerals, rocks, crystals, all sorts of elements that lie beneath the surface of the earth. He became an internationally renowned photographer of minerals and rocks. These photographs became the mainstay in textbooks for geologists, archaeologists, mineralogists. His images appeared in practically every professional journal in the world on this very specific area of scientific inquiry. Many of his photographs are in the collection at the Smithsonian in Washington and the National Archives. Now, to the non-scientist, these photographs are stunning. When you look at these extremely small elements of creation and the intricate beauty of them, these photographs help geologists to better understand the formation of the earth, the fact that even minerals and rocks are living realities evolving. They're also an insight into the spectacular majesty of the world that we live in. 6 years ago, Pope Francis issued one of the most influential papal documents of recent memory, the encyclical Laudato Si. Laudato Si is called The Care of Creation, and was the Holy Father's effort to put the protection of our environment in a moral perspective, and a reality that it is a moral perspective that every human being shares in. When he issued this encyclical, typically encyclicals are issued to bishops because they're teaching documents, and the bishops are responsible for teaching what the Pope has written. In this particular encyclical, he issues it to the whole world, because the preservation and the care of our environment is not just the concern of Christians or Orthodox, of the industrial West. It's all of us involved in appreciating the majesty of all that God has given us, this spectacular reality we call creation. In the early chapters of this encyclical, the Holy Father reminds us that the smallest fraction of the smallest fraction of the smallest fraction of anything that is created is intimately connected. And an assault on the smallest factor affects the much larger scene. The deforestation of the rainforest is not just an economic calamity for the indigenous peoples of the Amazon, but affects the quality of the larger earth. We see this in the pro-life movement. The most vulnerable child is as valuable and precious to the human community as anyone else. And so the Holy Father calls us to this deeper sense of how we're all connected. The power of Laudato Si takes on more influence in the midst of this pandemic. We have been witnessing since the beginning of the year this pathogen that has swept across the face of the earth. And this pathogen is an equal opportunity purveyor. It doesn't make a difference whether you live in North America or South America, whether you have a PhD from Harvard or you're illiterate, whether you're very old or very young. It is a threat to all of us. And it reminds us of this interconnection we have as a human community. And the hope of that encyclical was a deeper awareness. In the gospel today, Jesus drives out evil. He drives out evil for the well-being of all. And we, as a human community, need to drive out the evil of greed or materialism or self-centeredness that impacts not just a particular person or a particular town or a particular city, but the larger community. And today we pray for all efforts on many levels to preserve this great gift that God has given us. The issues facing the environment are very complex, very, very complex. But we have to start somewhere, as the Holy Father says. Yesterday or Sunday at his Angelus homily, he used the image of the earth as an orange that's being squeezed. And we need to work together to pray for the well-being of our earth and for those efforts to preserve this great gift that God has blessed us with. A special day also for our relationship to the Orthodox. Many years ago, the ecumenical patriarch Demetrius declared September 1st a holy day of obligation for the Greeks to pray as they begin their liturgical year for the earth and all its gifts. Pope Francis has invited us to join the Orthodox in this special day of observance, praying for and gratitude, first of all that God has given us, whether it's the tiniest micro mineral or the Himalaya mountains. They are all evidences of God's providential love for each and every one of us.